Hello everyone, this is Alberto from the London Contemporary School of Piano, and I'm very excited today because I'm going to talk to you about jazz bebop. Effectively, this will be an intro to that style of piano music, and we're going to get started with bebop on piano. The first thing that we must say is what bebop is. It's not exactly jazz. Perhaps the way I think of it is jazz is a big, vast cultural musical umbrella that includes a lot of different styles. Bebop is a particular one developed around the 50s. The reference artist we think of when we talk about bebop is the saxophonist Charlie Parker. It grew as an instrumental style to the point that even singers started singing in the style of instrumentalist, which is a really fascinating phenomenon. The characteristic of this style, we can compare it to its contemporary and predecessor, the swing of the 20s and the 30s. Bebop effectively injects a dose of energy and emotion forward. A lot of songs that had a swing style and were made for entertainment and dance, swing dance, they became an opportunity for bebop players to display their instrumental skills. What happened to those songs is they were played much faster. The main melody of the tune was somehow transformed to fit the creativity of a particular improviser. Charlie Parker was an incredible artist exactly because he was able to construct and build completely new melodies on tunes that were already pre-existing. It is fast, generally speaking, it is fast and loud. Historically, we can see how bebop has the symbol of bebop music is possibly the drums more than the saxophone or other instruments. The drums becomes not just a side instrument that supports the groove and supports the rhythm, but an expressive instrument. Drummers in bebop were able to improvise their own phrases and create their own music. Today, bebop has become the go-to style, and effectively, if you want to study jazz in any school, you will be confronted with bebop, and you might like it or not, but effectively, bebop has become some sort of differentiator between a jazz pianist a jazz musician who call themselves serious and a non-one. This might be debatable, at least it's certainly arguable for me. Definitely, it is worth pointing out that bebop has influenced a lot of styles after it, and has injected itself in a number of effectively. We can see today that bebop has influenced a lot of jazz styles in the decades after that. If you're a fan of the work that we do at the London Contemporary School of Piano, make sure you head over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. You'll find a link to our free resource kit. There's plenty of things to learn and to try out at the piano. I love to share my knowledge on videos, but I love also to teach one-to-one, face-to-face. So consider getting in touch to have personal lessons with me, the studios in London. So today we're going to cover the basics, and I'm going to do that by opening the door to 3 areas. I'm talking about rhythmic, attitude, accenting, and syncopation and pronunciation particularly. And we're going to look at a little bit of harmony. With regard to rhythmic attitude, as I was saying in my description of bebop, as a style, it is crucial that we dive into the rhythm as relevant, probably the most significant aspect of this style. Without a strong rhythmic attitude towards improvisation, we're gonna have a hard time performing bebop. Okay, what I'm gonna do is set the metronome at 140 on 2 and 4, and I'm gonna set loops of 4 bars. You'll hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, these are my 4 bars, and you can tell it's pretty fast, but the practice aims at developing comfort over this tempo. So I'm gonna start with one single chord and play all the 4 beats with my right hand. 2, I missed the flow. What am I doing here? I'm playing the chord of F6 on all the 4 beats of the bar, trying to maintain consistent relationship with the metronome. 1, 2, 3, and... Okay, this doesn't sound swing, doesn't sound bebop, but you'll see why this is crucial, because what am I doing? I'm letting my fingers develop a physical rhythmic attitude towards the piano. I'm doing it now on one single chord, but you'll see that when I add more chords, it will become much more difficult, effectively. Let's involve the left hand. In the left hand, I'm gonna play a voicing of F7. Let's do this very nice rootless voicing, and let's start again. And okay, you see how the left hand does this job of comping. It's not per se accompanying fully, but has this rhythmical attitude. What mostly I'm doing right now is syncopating in between the right hand beats. Okay. Okay, this is already good. Let's try to add a second chord. I'm gonna go 4 bars in F and 4 bars in B flat, and B flat will be a B flat 7. Okay. As you can tell, this is not easy to get right away, so spend some time on it. I'm now going to do a similar exercise with the same tempo, but I'm going to add a third chord, and now with 3 chords we might be able to go around the 12 bars blues. The third chord, of course, is C7, chord number 5 in the key of F. For now, I'm gonna just make sure that I have very confidently the fundamental voicing. So what I'm gonna do is to just set the root note in the left hand and the third and the 7 in the right, just to make sure that everything is on root. If you're not familiar, if you're not strong with this, I recommend you practice this. Now, let's play the same chord sequence, but the left hand will play the voicing. Okay, F, B flat. This is only, as I'm sure you know, the third and the 7 of the chord. Now on a B flat, now on an F, now on a C, no, B flat and F. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you the full exercise with the right hand playing all the notes. You see where this is going. It's very difficult to keep it together. Obviously, I am running these stages quite quickly for the sake of the video, but when you are at home, if you are committed, make sure that you spend long time on each separately, individually. You have to develop skills, and this skill develops very slowly. I just want to make sure that these steps are clear in front of us. If you're a fan of the work that we do at the London Contemporary School of Piano, make sure you head over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. You'll find a link to our free resource kit. There's plenty of things to learn and to try out at the piano. I love to share my knowledge on videos, but I love also to teach one-to-one, face-to-face. So consider getting in touch to have personal lessons with me, the studios in London. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this later when we talk about harmony, but I want to move on to accent and pronunciation. These are crucial elements of the what we call the groove. Pronunciation is usually underestimated because we think, especially pianists, tend to think more about the note to play or when to play it, not its articulation or its effective pronunciation. But if we work on pronunciation, we will recognize how much more you're gonna sound close to bebop than by just focusing on your notes. Let's take a chord of a scale of F. I'm gonna play a mixolydian. Actually, I'm gonna play a mixolydian with an E natural on top. Just I want to make sure that I have 8 notes in the scale to make it square. Now I'm gonna play the scale, but focusing on accenting the 2 and the 4. This is pretty fast, but it's not intuitive if you study scales as many pianists do. If you study like them, to switch and to accent on 2 and 4 is pretty counterintuitive. Now let's do this with the help of the left hand. The left hand has the same voicing as before. You can hear the accent on 2 and 4 once again. Okay, now let's do the same thing on the scale of B flat. I'm gonna start the scale of B flat from here. It's gonna be a mixolydian. Effectively, there is only one note different, so I'm gonna do the same. Okay, now I'm gonna start the scale of C with this voicing, C7, and I'm gonna start it from G. This will be my scale, is a mixolydian with an F sharp. Okay, if you like this idea of accenting on the 2 and the 4 and you like to develop it further, let's develop it more in the left hand. How about creating a nice voicing in the right hand, and now the bass line will do the work. You can tell by this example that I am touching mostly on the chord tones of each chord of the 12 bars blues, but maintaining very strong distinction, very clear distinction between the accented notes and the non-accented notes. And I'm practicing accent on 2 and 4. how to create a nice bass line. Effectively, the way we create a nice bass line and the way we improvise are two sides of the same thing. Is not very different. I usually improvise, and I learn how to improvise by connecting chord tones. So if my chord tones are this, and that, okay, I'm gonna connect them or invent different ways to get there. Or, okay, or. So if I were to put together, for example, this last line, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So effectively, I am constantly referring to the chord tones, creating little ornaments around them, sometimes even an accent or a syncopation. I practice. I remember a time where I was practicing each one separately. So, for example, the half step below, and the other way around. Okay, imagine doing that for all the chords in a 12 bars blues. I'm gonna do it slowly so you can follow. Okay, sounds weird, but it's an exercise. Why not? How about now doing the same exercise but changing the ornament? How about an ornament around each of the chord tones? These are ornaments, 2 notes ornaments around each note of the F. Okay, let's see what happens if I do slowly. If you're a fan of the work that we do at the London Contemporary School of Piano, make sure you head over to our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com. You'll find a link to our free resource kit. There's plenty of things to learn and to try out at the piano. I love to share my knowledge on videos, but I love also to teach one-to-one, face-to-face. So consider getting in touch to have personal lessons with me, the studios in London. Now I'm gonna create a phrase in the same manner, by this time disregarding which note falls on which downbeat. Pretty cool, right? Okay, these final exercises have actually introduced the third element of bebop I wanted to talk to you today, which is harmony. The role that chord tones have in bebop style is extremely important. As a matter of fact, harmonically we can say it's pretty simple, meaning in a 12 bars blues we have maybe 3, 4, 5 chords, and they're not many, they're not too many, and each chord comes with 3, maybe 4 notes to improvise around. And effectively, yes, it's not easy, but it's not even too difficult. What makes it very difficult is the speed at which it occurs. So the harmonic element here is crucial because you, as a student of bebop, you want to develop enough familiarity to the changes of chord and their fast change, how fast and quickly they change throughout the tune, and improvise accordingly. So you're on F, you're on B flat, and you're on F again. Then B flat, F, C, F. Okay. Now let's say I'm gonna play the same thing, following all the chord tones, and maybe once in a while adding or adjusting a little bit the melody. You can tell just by following my right hand that I keep landing on the same notes over and over. Why? Because I practiced a lot landing on the chord tones of each individual chord. I am enjoying making ornaments, adding ornaments and syncopations. But probably the most important message with this is that while in the beginning it feels overwhelming to work on so many levels, on so many things all at once at this tempo, I want to make sure that that you compound all these skills slowly and not start already at this tempo with so many chords and so many instructions. I recommend, for example, to practice with 2 chords only. For example, 1, 2, and 2, 3, F, B flat, F, B flat, F, B flat, F. You can tell once again I keep falling on the same notes. No surprise there. I've been practicing those notes a long time, and instead of hitting those 32 bars standard and play them fast, I work on 2 chords at a time, maybe a little bit slower. Then they become 3 chords at a time. They become maybe an 8-bar sequence, and they will become maybe a 16-bar sequence. So give yourself the time to explore this playfully, always having fun, and I'm sure that you will hear you progressing pretty quickly. I hope this was engaging and interesting for you. Let me know if you have any comments or requests. Of course, I'll be happy to talk to you face to face, perhaps sometime in London. All the best. See you next time.